Caller ID.
Where should you start? Where should you start tying your ties from? Up high or down low? This is what I mean. And there's no right or wrong way to do it, but which way is better? Which way might work best for you? What are some tips? I'll cover all of that real quick. So if you're tying your tie up high, the main advantage is you have an accurate representation if you've gotten your lengths right as to what the final length of the tie will be. That's the hugest advantage. One disadvantage, though, is that you might struggle to get the knot as you make the loop and try to pull up through the collar. It's a tight space if you start up high, and I understand it might be difficult for some of you, especially if you're first learning how to tie a tie. So you might try starting from down low. What's the biggest advantage? Well, easy access as you tie the tie. You don't have to fight with the length between your collar and your neck and trying to get your big old fingers through a smaller space. You're wide open when you start tying down low. But one disadvantage is, especially if you're new and you haven't figured out what lengths work best, it can be a bit wily trying to get the right terminal length of the tie. You'll have to start the smaller end a lot higher. You'll have to get the bigger end down lower. So you might have more trial and error there. But either way is fine. What do? I start up high. I always thought of this as the more tying aficionado way. But I've seen people do it both ways. People who've been tying ties for years. Some people are more comfortable down here. So find what works for you. Just a tip though, if you start up high, as you get comfortable passing that tie through the gap in the final phase of tying it, don't be afraid to will that knot into the shape that you want. You might find you have less control having tied the tie up so high at first, but don't be afraid to, pinch, work it, massage it, get the perfect looking knot. Don't leave it up to chance. And a tip for tying down low, give yourself enough offset in the proportions before you start tying to make sure that you end up with the adequate tie length when it's all finished. Why does this matter? Why? Well, either way is up to you, but find the way that works with you and be consistent with it. Because the consistency and the practice, the repetitions as you tie your tie, if you can do it one way and keep repeating that, you won't have to retie your tie. You won't have to start over. Consistent method, consistent outcomes, consistent good looks. Get dressed, gentlemen. Where should you start tying your ties from? Let me try that again.